Welcome back to the show. On Saturday, we paid a visit to Selinsgrove Raceway Park for one of the biggest go-kart events around. Now, there were 19 different classes, and 4 of those were MAXX DADDY events. 3 of them paid $2,000 to win, and the last one on the evening paid $10,000. Before all of the activities, Jan caught up with one of the promoters.
So there are actually 2 series running here today.
Yeah, both series are down from in the Carolinas of the low country of South Carolina, where I'm from, the MAXX Mid-Atlantic series. And we have Troy Duncan here with the Dynacams Tri-State series. He's out of Carnesville, Georgia. Both of our series are mainly ran in the southeast part of the country. My series is ran through North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, and Virginia, where his is Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, and one in North Carolina. We're all MAXX's racetrack. We're all MAXX's tires. So we came up here to Pennsylvania. We combined the 2 series to come up and put on a show for the northern racers who never get to come down and race with us. So we thought it'd be a great idea to bring the race to them, and Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania is where we chose. Are you also trying to increase your fan base? Yeah, well, it's more to reward the racers because it's such an expense to travel down south where to put on the big races. There's not many big races up here, so we thought it'd be a treat for them, for us to bring it to them and to increase the fan base of MAXX's.
So tell us, how did your company get involved in this?
Well, Goldspeed USA is actually the importer of MAXX's tires. So any tire that comes into the United States that has MAXX's on it actually came through our warehouse, and we distributed it to the dealers who get them out to the go-kart racers.
Now, the series started in 2010?
The MAXX DADDY series did start in 2010. Actually, Goldspeed's been in business about 19 years, I believe.
And it recently, this is its first time in the Northeast?
Exactly. We had several racers who would come from the Northeast down to the Southeast, and 3 years in a row they had asked if we would bring something big to this area, and so here we are.
Great. And what is the response?
So far, so good. I think we're probably enjoying it more than the racers. We didn't know, that this facility was here. We love this area. So we plan on making this a tradition every year on Memorial Day weekend at this track.
Now on to some highlights from the MAXX DADDY events. First up, the Junior 3 Gold for ages 13 to 18. Trevor Teets in the silver number 07 led the 23-car field to the green for their 50-lapper. It would be the 43 of Donovan Holt who would lead as we complete the first lap. How quickly can things change in kart racing? Well, by the next time around, Teets is back at the point, and Holt is now running in the 7th position. But it doesn't take long to pick up a spot on the track as he works under the 53 of Dalton Daimler. By lap 5, the 6 of Clay Harris has the lead, with Sean Glennon riding in 2nd. That's when Quentin Graham comes to a stop on the track to bring out the caution. Harris leads Glennon on the single foul restart. As they head down the backstretch, Glennon makes a move to the inside of Harris. Brady Penny locks onto the back of Glennon and goes for a spin. With this size of a field, positions can change very quickly. 3-wide racing is very common, and getting stuck on the outside can lead to being freight trained. In such close quarters, contact is almost inevitable. Up front, Holt regains the lead with this pass of Harris on lap 11. The 19 of Jacob Pfeiffer also shuffles Harris back a spot. Cautions on laps 20 and 21 erased the big lead Holt had over Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer would pass Holt for the lead, who slides back to the 5th position in a matter of seconds. At the halfway mark, teams refuel for a final charge towards the $2,000 prize. Pfeiffer would lead the pack as we begin the second half of the event. Holt squeezes to the inside of the 5 of Seth Seckinger for the 3rd spot, and Seckinger loses 3 more positions before falling back in line. On lap 32, Glennon passes Pfeiffer to retake the lead, and Holt also gets by Pfeiffer to move into 2nd. 4 laps later, Holt is again at the point with this move on Glennon. With 5 laps to go, Glennon is right on the tail of Holt and executes this move to take over the lead as they head down the backstretch. Sean Glennon would hold off Donovan Holt to take the checkers. However, in post-race inspection, Glennon was disqualified when it was found that his baffle had broken in half during the race. Although not intentional, it is a performance enhancer. That handed the win to Donovan Holt.
So you came the whole way up from Florida. What caused you to want to be in this race?
It's a MAXX Daddy. I just wanted to win one. Last time I finished second in mine.
How'd you do today in qualifying?
And there's only 7 carts, so I finished about 4th in every one.
I hear that you actually are very good at racing and that you met Tony Stewart.
Yes, I did.
What'd you tell him?
I told him one day I'll hopefully drive for you.
Okay, so I hear you're a national champion?
Yes. I won one in 2011 and 2012. Couldn't pick one up in 2013.
I think we're looking at the future Jeff Gordon.
Thank you.
So, let's see how James did in the Junior 1 Purple MAXX Daddy race for 8 to 10-year-olds. James started in the 4th position of the 7 karts that started the event and ran in the top 5 throughout the race. During the first half of the race, Eli Beats in the black 109 set a torrid pace which extended his lead over Nolan Groves in the 35 and Gannon Steimling, who ran in 3rd. Throughout the remainder of the event, Groves and Steimling raced for the runner-up position, and Eli Beats would win the Junior 1 Purple MAXX Daddy 50-lapper. Groves held off Steimling. James Seawright finished 4th ahead of Olivia Thayer.
So you're a sponsor of this race?
Yes, ma'am. Charger Racing Chassis. We're out of Bessemer City, North Carolina.
Now, this isn't the only chassis here.
No, ma'am. There's probably a good 6 to 8 other chassis brands and makes here today.
And do you find it a competitive market?
Yes, ma'am. All of the manufacturers that we typically race against, probably 90% of us are probably within a 2-hour radius of one another. There are other manufacturers that do well in other industries, but just seems like the core group around the NASCAR area, around Mooresville, Huntersville, you know, that's where a lot of the racing comes from in that area.
So how do you get the edge?
A lot of testing and tuning. Our drivers, you know, you have some experience more than others, but basically, you know, you just have to get in there and do your testings and, you know, do all of the circuits like the Mid-Atlantic Series. You know, we race the North and the South, and you have Tri-State. You got, you know, numerous amount of events and series that we follow, so we're basically racing probably every weekend.
In the Junior 2 Blue 50-lapper for 10 to 12-year-olds, the 27 of Ty Moore started on the pole position. He would get passed by Colby Quick and Devin Morgan before half of a lap is in the books. Although they traded off the lead in the first 25 laps, Quick in the 5 kart and number 12 Morgan were the class of the field all during the race, even when the pack got bunched up due to cautions. In the latter stages of the race, Colby Quick extended his lead over Morgan to about a quarter of a lap and went on to collect the $2,000 winner's check. Ty Moore, Garrett Hemminghofer, and Lane Penley round out the top 5 in the Junior 2 Blue MAXX Daddy race. Now, that was my first time to be exposed to such a big go-kart event like that, and I was a little surprised that they don't have heat races like we're accustomed to. 2 laps of qualifying, and if you don't make it, you can go in a consi race. You don't transfer, you go home. C'est la vie.
Yeah, that was my first time too, and I was surprised that they don't throw the caution flag very often. In fact, I watched as 4 cars piled up off the track in turn 4. So I asked them about that, and they said that they do throw the flag if they think somebody's injured or if the wreck is on the track. Other than that, they don't. They just keep the race going.
Well, we will have more highlights from Selinsgrove, including the $10,000 to win MAXX Daddy event. Keep it here.
Pocono Raceway 2014. For tickets, call 1-800-RACEWAY or visit PoconoRaceway.com.
Seagram's Escapes. Keep it colorful.